Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com weekend update show. Hope everybody is having a good start to their weekend. Guys, take a moment out, support the channel. All it takes is a second, no shirt off your back. Click a like if you haven't done so already. Come aboard, right? Video goes out Sunday through, well, this weekend through Wednesday, and then take Thursday off and then repeat the cycle again. Hopefully, again, I can continue to add value to your day to day. So let's talk about the tip, right? Market continues its stellar run. I wish I could just pretty much, record it once and just say it pretty much every single day. We are just melting up. That's all it is. We're melting up. S&P has notched 5 consecutive sessions of record highs. NASDAQ is in orbit, right? Everything is doing really, really well. And the most impressive part about this massive melt up is the start of earnings season. And if you look at technology earnings season, you would never think we are warranted for a melt up. Again, that's the whole point, that it doesn't have to make sense. Just roll with it, right? Roll with it. If you look at the scoreboard so far in the technology sector, you had Intel disappointed, IBM disappointed, right? You have Netflix, although they came out with pretty good earnings, right? They disappointed, right? Stock reaction was disappointed. Tesla, and we'll get to this in a second, right? Tesla came out with earnings, disappoint, right? Again, we'll get to that in a second. So it's really, really amazing that the only name that has, done well on earnings is Google, right? Is Google, but yet the NASDAQ continues to grind higher. Again, constant reminder, it doesn't matter what you think, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think. Your opinion, my opinion, is absolutely irrelevant. Price action is saying we're melting up. We are melting up. On the other hand, stocks that we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks that do not look healthy, well, they're continuing to break down. We talked about CRWV. Matter of fact, if you go to Thursday's video, I gave you guys the price, right? I go 120. All you got to do is go back to the previous video, 120. And we kept on talking about it throughout the week. The longer a stock builds below the 50-day moving average, the higher probability it's going to get hit. Well, it finally got hit. It lost 120, traded all the way down to 14. It looks like it's going to have a date with this 109, 110 area that we've been talking about. If you got the trade, congratulations. Again, you want to see how a structure, right? A chart structure can benefit you when you just open your eyes and just kind of letting technicals play out or letting technicals confirm. The problem is when you're trading with retail and you're trading with everybody else and you're trading the same stocks as everybody at the same price, you're going to get retail results, right? When you're looking at a chart and you're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, stock hasn't responded, hasn't reclaimed back the 50-day moving average. We know exactly how important it is. All I need to do is wait. Just wait for that thing to give me the go-ahead, in this case, the red light, right? And when finally broke the 120, again, you have a measuring move coming down to this 109, 110 area. Next week, you have the Super Bowl of earnings. You have Meta, that's been on a great, great run. The question is, and all these names, for the exception of Apple, on all these names is just like Netflix. Is it potentially going to be baked into their prior run? We will see. Again, we have no idea. But you have Meta, you have Apple, which again is one of the very few beta names that is still underneath supply. So this one potentially, if they do have good earnings, and again, we have no idea if it does or not, but if it does have good earnings, this could actually go on a multi-week run just because it's been so like a drowning victim, right? Like all this is supply. Look at this as being water, right? It's been underwater for such a long time that any move above can trigger something really good. So it's going to be very, very important to see if Apple could finally come out of this whole massive weekly and monthly supply zone. So we'll see there. Amazon reports as well this week. You got Microsoft. coming up this week. So the question is, can tech continue to discard bad earnings? So far, again, we talked about bad earnings and continue to grind higher. Let's transition, right? Let's transition to Tesla. So, I mean, you see everything, right? Eventually, you trade long enough, you see everything. So, for all of us who've been watching the video, I got long, last week on the reclaim of the 50-day moving averages. It was only supposed to be a run up into earnings. So we got the 3-day run up, about 14, 15 points. Really, really good move. And then Tesla came out with earnings and the stock got hit pretty aggressively, right? Elon Musk came out with the axe to the throat and said, well, expect some rough times ahead, right? Expect some rough times ahead. And the stock got absolutely hit, right? So we talked about on the weekend video, on Thursday's video, and I said, well, of course there's a shot there's a dead cat bounce, but obviously the narrative, right? The obvious, predetermined formation of the stock now is going to become negative. Well, this is why we play the game. So when we started looking at pivots, right? We started looking at pivots here. Let me just go through them. HIMS, had a nice move, 57.80s, traded all the way up to 60 before some news came out in the middle of the day. Circle only came down like $1.50. CYCC didn't confirm. QBTS didn't confirm. So here's the massive breakdown on CRWV. Again, we talked about this on Thursday. I give you guys the 120 level. Got smashed. But here is the one, right? Here is the one. So I always talk about, don't fall in love. Don't fall in love with the stock, fall in love with its ranges. Again, I don't care which way the stock trades, as long as there's a channel there and it's going to confirm. So I had a two-sided game plan. I go, guys, keep an eye, obviously, on the bottom side on the previous day's low, because if it builds below the 340 area, it should get hit. However, there is an upside today. I go, guys, there's a sneaky pivot above 309. And I go, if there's a potential dead cat bounce, it should get to 312, 313, right? Not a big deal, right? Not a big deal. So if you look at the 60-minute view on Tesla, and I'll show you where I got the 309 area for. Here's a 60-minute view, right? Here's a 60-minute view. So if you look at the top of this candle here, right, it's 308.25. I know it's going to extend a little more. So this candle's high was 308.94. That was the pre-market high at 8 o'clock. So I said there's a sneaky pivot above 309, and where I got 312, 313 was right here, right? This is the next candle into supply. So I know a lot of you guys got long Tesla at the 309 break. I actually shorted it, right? I actually shorted it into this 1270s area into supply, and it was a really good fade. It was a really good fade. It went from like 1270s back to 309, and that's when I joked around. If you go on my Twitter feed, I go, well, when does Tesla go red, right? It was literally like $2-3 away from going red. So I caught like a $3 wash on this thing. I was all good. Some of you guys caught the long and caught the short. Yeah, we were chilling, right? We were chilling. And the next thing you know, Tesla goes out of its mind, absolutely out of its mind. It gets back above the 313 area, trades all the way up to 320, 350s. Now, why is that important? It almost reclaimed back the 50-day moving average, okay? Apparently, when you trade long enough, like I said a few minutes ago, eventually you're going to see everything. So, yeah, this massive, massive reversal back to the upside, got rejected off the 5-day moving average. So now going into this week, it's actually a pretty simple entry, right? We're either looking for an entry below the earnings lows for a short, or we are looking for an entry on a reclaim of the 50-day moving average to the upside. That's it. There's literally nothing in between. Everything else is noise, guys. Wednesday's low is very, very important. And Friday's highs is very, very important. That's it. That's all you need to know in the stock. You don't need to debate about robo-taxis in San Francisco and in Austin and this and that and the third and the recent headlines of missing earnings and rough times ahead. The price action is going to tell us we're either going to reclaim the 50-day moving average and literally wipe out that whole earnings washout and start going high. Because I tell you, if this thing does, on all this bad news, reclaim back the 50-day moving average, right, on the close, I'm in with both hands. I don't think that you can have a more bullish scenario than wiping out bad earnings and reclaiming back the 50-day moving average. Okay. And on the flip side, if it starts losing the earnings lows, obviously we want to be sellers of the stock because we probably will see the bottom range there as well. Meme stocks continue to go nuts all over the place this week. Again, if you've been actively trading, you kind of see the aggressive nature of these meme stocks. I think the most important part, and I started talking about this on the video, I think it was on Monday night or Tuesday night. I started talking about, if you've been trading long enough, you kind of know that the last group is, the last group to go nuts is always, the crap stocks, the really, the meme names and this, that, and the third. They have like 2 weeks worth of life throughout the year. So you have to at least have the conversation with yourself. Do I really want to continue pushing highs, and have a potential to get really, really rug pulled, knowing that the last group to go is usually these crap stocks. You have to be at least very, very conscious of that going into this week. I've been really hammering the point in the webinar. Guys, leave the stocks that have the big runs alone. They're the ones that get pulled first. Stick to the ones that are coming out of ranges. And if you've been in the webinar just this week, just this past week alone, and all you guys, again, if you are interested, I know a lot of you guys really came aboard. If you are interested, there's a discounted link for 30 days in the webinar, guys. All you got to do is kick the tires for 30 days, see if it's a right fit for you. But for all you guys who were in the webinar for this week and you took advantage of it, man, you saw everything, man. You saw bounce plays, you saw rejections, you saw natural pivots, and it's all driven by the PS60 theory. So if you are interested, guys, click the link below, and I will see you all on Monday, right? So let's talk about some names, right? Let's talk about some names that potentially could go this week, right? That we are watching. I still, like I said a few minutes ago, this CRWV, I think there's a date to this. I think there's a date to with the 109 area. I really do. Again, does it have to go there on Monday? No. Does it have to go there on Tuesday? No. But the longer it keeps on building now below the 50-day EMA, the higher probability that it will test the 109 area. I know some of you guys are still holding runners over the weekend from the 120 breakdown that I gave all you guys on Thursday night's video. It's a good move there. So I still like this thing to the downside. ASPI, there's some call buying coming into the name on Friday. Some 12s came in, some 15s came in, not that short term of expiration, but you can see here, the only reason why it stopped on Friday was this upper Bollinger Band. So if this thing gets back above this upper Bollinger Band, this thing could really wake up. Keep an eye on this thing. Again, this is what I like. I like stocks coming off long ranges. I'm not trying to buy something up, 3 weeks in a row. So it looks good here. Joby, even though Joby had a really, really big run, it has consolidated now for like a week. If you can see here, the July highs stopped at the same area back-to-back times. We saw some 20s come in. We saw some 22s come in on Joey. So there's definitely option flow in the name. Keep an eye on this thing, especially if it continues to go sideways for the next couple of days. Keep an eye on this thing for a potential move outside of this channel. TTD got added to the S&P 500 a couple of weeks ago. This is the first close above the adding of the S&P 500. So keep an eye on TTD for potential more room up. Rivian, right? Rivian actually looks not like crap, right? Not like crap. Doesn't look good yet, but not like crap. If you look at the last time, you go back to April when it got back above the 50-day moving average, it went from 12 all the way up to 17. So it's been rejected now at the 50-day moving average 3 times in the last 5 days. It needs to finally get back above this week's highs. If it could get back above this week's highs, you might start a next leg up here. Keep an eye on this thing. Just again, check for when they report earnings. But as far as face value go, looks pretty good. Snow, I would like to see some option flow in Snow. I haven't seen any flow. But it did close above this range, right? That started on 721. So I want to watch if there is flow coming into the name. I'm not sure when they report earnings, so I have to check that as well. But keep an eye on this thing above Friday's channel as well. So that's it, guys. We got the Fed coming up on Wednesday. Too much chagrin of Donald Trump. The Fed is absolutely expected to do squat, right? So they expected to hold rates where they are. You got mega cap earnings all over the place, a continuation of a melt-up market, but always be wary, guys. The market will never just tap you on the shoulder and say, well, that's it. We're about to pull. It's just going to do it. So be wary on both sides, have a game plan on both sides, and God willing, I'll see you all in the field on Monday. Take care.